What is that?
Oh, this is our latest obsession.
What is it?
It's a little watered down. It's a concoction of yuzu, pineapple, Japanese whiskey, simple syrup, orange bitters, and Topo Chico. And it's delicious.
Are you fucking kidding me? I need that right now.
It's delicious. Like, okay, we have become obsessed with yuzu, the fruit.
Yeah.
We went to like a sushi place, and they had this like pineapple yuzu drink that had Japanese whiskey in it, and it was so delicious. Oh. And so I went to go look online to find it, and I found a recipe that is kind of what this close approximation is of this. But it's really hard to find yuzu juice.
Did you go to like an Asian market?
So I looked. I tried looking online to see if I could find it like in the local area. I couldn't. Maybe I should go to. But like we ordered. Okay.
Oh.
First we ordered like this bottle, and it was like $17, and the bottle was like this big.
No.
And I was like, that's enough for like 2 drinks.
Oh my God. And then
Cassie ordered a yuzu tree to start growing our own yuzu fruit. That's like a long-term solution. And then we found out that Monin, the people that make the sort of the like flavors that people use in like coffees and whatnot, have like a puree line, and one of the purees is yuzu puree. So we ordered like bottles of it. So we have like these bottles of Monin yuzu puree to make drinks.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
So that's what I'm drinking. Our lovely patron people can see It's a little watered down because I made it like about 30 minutes ago, and then I forgot to drink it. So the ice is the ice is melting. Anyway, welcome back to
here for something else.
To Cocktail Hour, Little Cuts, our weekly mini-sode where we dig into the things that we've been watching and or reading / listening to. I'm Terry.
And I am Mary Beth. This week we're talking a spooky autumnal story, cannibals in love, an expensive meal, a wild true crime series, and so many beaver jokes.
All the beaver jokes.
So many beaver jokes. Anyway, so tell me, just Zombeavers is quite an experience. Anywho, so what's this spooky autumnal story?
So I've been wanting to so it's an audiobook. It's okay. I've been wanting to listen to this particular book for a while or read it. But I was like, they're supposed to be releasing this movie at some point, so I was going to wait off to listen to it. And I don't know where this movie is, but Dark Harvest.
Yep.
The David Slade directed movie that is done and was supposed to be released, like, I don't know, sometime in the last 2 years. Don't know where it's at.
It was supposed to come out this Halloween, I thought. That was like the thing. It was supposed to come out this year.
I thought it was supposed to come out last year, too. Like, they talked about releasing it in 2021, and it was just like, I don't know where it's at. So I was like, I wanted to, after listening to Clown in the Cornfield.
Corn in the Clownfield.
Can you imagine? Just like rows of clowns, and then there's like a single corn. Stop it. Anyway, I wanted something.
Why would you ever fucking say that? How dare you?
How dare I?
How dare you say this to me?
I wanted to watch something, or watch something. God, what are words? I quit. This has been scarred for life. Goodbye. I wanted to listen to something spooky, autumnal, and I was like, this is a short book. It was 4.5 hours to listen. Oh. And I was like, okay, I'm going to finally listen to this since who knows when the movie's coming out at this point.
Yeah.
And so this is a story about this small town, 1963. Every year, this being emerges from the pumpkin field, and they call him the October Boy, or old Hacksaw Face, or Sawtooth Jack, like he has a bunch of names. And every Halloween, he rampages through town. And it's almost like a Purge-esque like thing, because like every Halloween they lock their teenage sons away for 5 days without feeding them, and then they let them loose on the streets of this town on Halloween to hunt the October Boy and kill him, and then eat his candy insides.
What in the good goddamn are you talking about?
And if
that's what this movie is about?
Yeah.
That's what this movie is?
Uh-huh.
What?
And
Jesus fucking Christ. Like
whichever
Lord of the Flies.
Yeah. Whichever teenage boy ends up killing the October boy, their family gets a new house, a new car, and the boy gets a bunch of money and he's sent out of town. And so like the town is very sequestered. No one ever leaves except for, I guess, this one boy that ends up succeeding in killing the It's a little weird. The story's a little weird. It's not what I was expecting.
Does everyone every year? Does the October boy have to be killed, or he ends the world?
Every year. I don't know what happens if he reaches the center of town. I don't know. That's my one complaint, is that because this is like a novella, it feels more on the short story side. It's more of like a story that is told around a campfire. It has like this.
Okay. I'm like, I need to understand the lore. I need the rules.
That is the one thing I had a problem with, is that there's really not a whole lot of like lore behind the town, or what happens if Sawtooth Jack gets to the church in the center of town, or all that kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of these implications that I'm like, I want to know more about, but the story doesn't want to tell you that. Now, I think listening to this book is the way to experience this story.
Really?
The narrator is named Vikas Adam, and he has a voice that is like smoke and whiskey, and it's dark.
Ooh.
And the way the story is written, it's like an omniscient narrator talking to you, as if you've experienced this story before, like as if you were one of the teenage boys that hunted Sawtooth Jack at one point. And so it has a very like campfire quality of like getting around and having someone tell a story to you. And his performance is so good. It is so good. It's probably the best performance I've heard in an audiobook. It is just, it's perfect. And I had a really good time with this. It's not what I was expecting.
That's like a lot of things you just said at me.
I know. I had the same reaction once I first started listening, and I was like, wait, why is he locked in his room? Wait, he's been locked in the room for 5 days? This happens what is happening? But it ended up being a really good listen, very quick listen, and the perfect autumnal horror story to experience.
Cool.
So I definitely recommend it, particularly as an audiobook. Really well done. Going from that to, I can't wait. I want to hear about Cannibals in Love. I want to see this so bad.
Okay, so yesterday I saw the new Luca Guadagnino movie, Bones and All, which stars both Timothée Chalamet and Taylor Russell, who she's newer, but you could see her she's in both the Escape Room movies.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, she's in both the Escape Room movies as like the main character, and she is the main character in this movie, and she is absolutely fucking phenomenal. So this movie takes place in the 1980s. A young girl named Marin is a cannibal. She and her dad is trying to keep her safe and hide her away, but then she bites somebody, and he basically says, I can't do this anymore, and kind of lets her off on her own. And so it becomes this kind of road movie as she travels across the country to find her mother, and she meets other people like her, and they call themselves eaters. So they're cannibals, but they call themselves eaters, and they can smell each other. And then she meets Timothée Chalamet's Lee, and they get together, and it becomes this beautiful kind of weird love story about them driving across the country together in this truck and meeting weird other types of eaters, like Michael Stolbarg, who's also in all of Luca Guadagnino's stuff. He was the dad in Call Me by Your Name. Mm-hmm. Plays a terrifying character. He's only in the movie for about 5 minutes, but he's so scary. And it's a cannibal movie, but it's so much more than that. It is this absolutely beautifully moving portrait about found family and trying to accept who you are and finding other people who will accept you for who you are. and how fucking difficult that is. And, like, grappling with your own traumas and monstrosity and finding things to love about yourself in the face of it all. And it's just, like, it's absolutely gorgeous. I just, Luca Guadagnino, I can't even, like, begin to even explain how this man creates these stories. Like, it's a story that could so easily be exploitative, like a girl who's a cannibal. But there's cannibalism in it, but it's not about cannibalism. Like, there's the moments where they obviously have, like, there are nasty moments. It's very gory, but it's not, like, about spectacle and about showing you them, like, devouring a body, like, for a long take. It's just using that to kind of supplement a story about belonging and finding people who love you for who you are. I'll be fucking damned if a cannibal movie did not make me cry my goddamn eyes out. I left the screening room and I was, like, crying on the train home. It was just, like, it's beautiful. It's like, it might be my favorite movie of the year. Like, it's so good.
He makes incredible movies.
He's incredible.
He
like,
understands, like, the heart.
Yes. Also, it's, like, kind of queer, too. But, like, also, I think all found family movies are, like, inherently queer and, like, leaving home to find the people who love you. But there's, like, a lot of interesting kind of queer subtext going on as well.
Okay.
But anyway, at least I think so. But we also just love seeing queer things. But it's just, like, and also Luca Guadagnino, all of his work is queer. And so, like, he imbues that with, like, kind of a queer gaze, which I think is really interesting. He just knows how to make characters who you ache for.
Yeah.
Like, you just want them to be so happy and your heart fucking breaks for them. Like, he makes characters you can so easily fall in love with, but then, like, are devastated by. He makes you fall in love with his characters and then breaks your heart. And it's fucking rude.
It really is.
It's fucking rude. It really is. Call Me By Your Name? Snot. Mess. Garbage.
That movie fucking destroyed me.
Just, ugh. Fuck me. He knows how to shoot a goddamn gut punch of an ending shot. Let me tell you something. Anyway, so that's
is great. He's just good. I'm so excited to hear that. It's one of the movies. I think it's actually my most anticipated movie this year.
Really?
Yeah, I'm really hoping, because, like, I think it's opening up the end of this month, and I hope it's, like...
It opens up around Thanksgiving, which is my fucking favorite thing of all time. It's a Thanksgiving movie.
Is it a wide release? I hope it's a wide release.
I'm not sure.
I really want to see it so fucking bad. You have no idea.
I think it might be, though. The Chalamet has a big draw. I tweeted about it, and all the Chalamet stands are all up in my shit. In a good way, but, like, they're crazy.
Uh-huh.
And he's, you know, I wish I thought he was hot. I really wish. He's so shirtless in this movie, and he just looks like a little fish. He just looks like a little, he just looks like a sexy golem, and it's just, like, a lot for me to take in.
The thing, okay, he is not my type at all. I think he's attractive. He's not my type at all. But there's something about the way he interacts with his co-stars that makes it feel as if, like, that is the only person in his life. Like, the way he looks at people, I thought this in Call Me By Your Name, but then he was also in Lady Bird. Yeah, Lady Bird. His interactions with Lady Bird, like, he makes you feel as if, like, that other person is the only person for him, regardless of whether that's true or not. Like, that is the way that he imbues his characters, and there's something so, I don't know, there's a lot of chemistry, and there's something so charismatic about him that I can't help but not find him, like, super cute.
Have you seen the video of him, like, rapping and dancing in his, like, sweatpants at, like, a school play? Oh my god. There's this fucking hilarious video when he was in high school and he was rapping and he was, like, hip-hop. He was, like, hip-hopping, Jesus Christ. He was, like, hip-hop dancing. And there's a scene in this movie where I'm like, oh my god, he's channeling his earlier performance as a child. It's very funny. It's not a spoiler, but, like, there's just a point where he's, like, dancing around and I'm like, oh my god, his little noodle body is so weird. He also looks like my brother, kind of.
I can see that a little, yeah.
You saw, like, a little bit. It's the hair. Yeah. It's mostly, like, the hair and the tiny body. Like, the tiny hairless body.
He's America's twink.
But we're talking a lot about him, but like Taylor Russell really is like fucking incredible. Like this woman is a superstar. Like her performance in this movie is just like the most gorgeous thing. Like, this is like one of my only 5-star movies of the year. Like, I just can't tell you anything wrong with it. I have brainworms. I'm usually not a person to get these kinds of brainworms from movies. It's like makes me think of like Stan Twitter. I'm gonna be one of those fucking feral weirdos on the internet talking about this cannibal movie. I swear to God, I'm gonna just become one of them because it's so good. I can't wait for everyone to see it and be like, you're a fucking moron. Just kidding. A lot of people have said they liked it on the internet. So
I can't wait.
Oh, anyway, that's Bones and All. I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. See it when you can, y'all. It is absolutely incredible. Yes, it is 2 hours and 10 minutes long. It's perfect movie. Don't worry about it. It's a movie that's allowed to be that long. I wanted it to be longer. So Luca Guadagnino can do whatever the fuck he wants. I will watch a 4-hour movie.
He has proven that
he can do whatever he wants. Anyway, let's go from like cannibals in love eating. There's
Speaking
a culinary, a cannolier.
A canolinary. What are
culinary connection.
There sure is.
What is this expensive meal, Terry?
Oh my gosh. So we both ended up seeing the menu yesterday. Mark Mylod, I think is his name. The director.
So. Yeah.
Starring Ralph Fiennes, Anna Taylor, everyone. And Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult, John Leguizamo, Arturo Castro, who I know from Broad City.
Hong Chow is in it.
Hong Chow
is incredible
in this movie. Judith Light, like just
everyone.
A lot of character actors.
An incredible ensemble cast of character actors.
And it is about these very rich people who pay $12.50 a head, which I'm going to be perfectly honest, does not seem that exorbitant. Like, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm just going out there and dropping $12.50 on a meal. But, like, in terms of the clientele, I didn't think it was that expensive.
Maybe the wine wasn't included. Or was it all included?
I felt like it was all included.
Huh. I don't know. Anyway,
but that just, I don't know. That way outside my price point, but I'm just saying that in terms of, like, the people that this is supposed to get, 12 people in this place, very rich, it doesn't seem that exorbitant. But anyway, a lot of rich people show up on this island where they're very self-sufficient. They have like their own gardens. They have their own little beehives. They catch their own fish. They sleep in a barracks pretty much, which is weird. And they prepare like I lost count of how many courses there are in this movie.
It's over 8.
It's a lot of courses, and it's like supposed to be like a 4-hour meal.
4-hour and 35-minute 16-course meal.
That doesn't get done until like 2 a.m, and it's always like the menu is like impeccably sourced and tells a story, and you don't know what the story is going to be until the very end. And Ralph Fiennes plays the chef, and he has a very dedicated group of chefs behind him that will pretty much do what he wants, it seems like. And as the night goes on, things start to take weird turns before it turns violent. Oh
man, that moment with the sous chef, I was like, oh my god, here we go.
Yeah. And I will say that I do think that, like, I don't know, I think the trailer kind of tips its hand a bit too much, unfortunately.
I didn't watch the trailer.
I unfortunately have seen the trailer more times than I care to count because it's one of the few trailers that was playing at Alamo for like the last 3 months. So every movie we went to go see, I saw this trailer and I saw a trailer for Triangle of Sadness. Like, those are the 2 trailers that I could almost probably quote back to you word for word because I've seen them so many fucking times.
Oh, no, I watched it once, but I didn't remember much from it. I just try to, even though I write about trailers a lot, I try to avoid them like the plague, because
I do too.
Detail too much.
Yeah. But this movie's devastatingly funny.
It's so sneaky in how funny it is, too.
Yeah.
It's because, like, I don't know how, if I sneaky is the right way, but it's not, like, trying to be like, haha, look, it's the joke. It's more like, so I'm thinking mostly, like, with the sommelier who's, like, pouring the wine and is, like, just every pour is this, like, ridiculous kind of just, like, deadpan given of, like, it tastes of coffee and fruit and sadness. And this just walks away. And it's not played like some kind of, like, comedy skit. He says it like he is an actual sommelier, so it just feels a little bit more subtle. It's much more, and it's much more satirical rather than, like, outright, like, haha, food critics are funny. Or food people are crazy. Like, it's so much smarter than that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so, and, like, they also make so much fucking fun of Chef's Table with each course that pops up. They have, like, the description, and as the
one of my favorite parts of the movie, the description of the courses.
Oh my god, they're just so, and, like, Nicholas Holt's character even says, I've watched every episode of Chef's Table like 4 or 5 times. Like, it's very much picking fun at both the people, the chefs, and then the people who eat the food. It's very much making fun of the entire culture around, like, fine dining, which is incredible because both of my parents are chefs. And we watch Chef's Table together, and they always, like, talk shit or like, you know, talk about the chefs or be like, oh, that's so, like, what, this is so stupid, or like, oh, it's so, like, they always, like, are giving their very honest feedback about if this person is, like, full of shit or if they're actually a good chef and not just, like, full of themselves. And I cannot wait to watch this movie with my parents, like, for them to laugh at it, because, like, it's just, I have met so many people that Ray finds characters based on in real life. Like, obviously not that extreme, but, like, I have met so many, like, old pompous chefs through my parents and have heard about so many of them. It's so fucking funny to see, like, the militant attitude of the kitchen and the way people act in those kitchens when they work with the chef. And, like, it's just so fucking spot on and hysterical. Like, just comment, like, it's funny for anybody. I'm not saying this because of, like, I have like restaurant history, like restaurant experience, but it's just, that nails it so good. It's so funny.
And the culture around food with, like, foodies in particular, because, like, I'm I'm a foodie, but, like, there is another level in that Nicholas Holt's character kind of represents, where he's, like, talking about the mouthfeel and he's using all these things, like, but he has no clue. He is just parroting things that he has seen in, like, Chef's Table and whatnot. But it's so funny to see the kind of, like, the pompousness. And one of my favorite parts is actually that the chef is so upset that Margot, Anya Taylor-Joy's character, doesn't seem interested in his food, and it is, like, devastating him. He has to know why she's not interested in his food. It just, I don't know, there's so many little snarky moments and little subtle bits of humor in this, but then there's also some laugh out loud parts where it's just like he just goes for it. And this movie was a delight, an utter delight.
It's a delight. So I guess the comparison I would make, if you're trying to find a comparison, I think about, like, a Yorgos Lanthimos movie, but less deadpan. I got a Yorgos Lanthimos movie vibe from it a little bit. They're not, again, I don't mean that as in they're very similar, but if you like the kind of really dark, kind of funny, but, like, really fucked up, twisted kind of vibe, it is delightful.
Horror comedy done right.
It is horror comedy done right.
Wild true crime series. I feel like you've seen a lot of these wild true crime series recently, Mary Beth. What is going on over there?
Okay, well, Steve and I, like, love to watch true crime things together.
Okay.
Like, this is, like, we liked watching true crime, and he loves watching things. He especially loves, like, documentaries and true crime series about rich people getting their comeuppance for being horrible people. Like, that is one of his favorite, like, specific subgenres of things, and I have started watching more of that with him. It started with the documentary about the housewife and the hustler, the Erica Jane and her husband, and, like, I was like, oh my god, these are so much fun to watch together. So we have grown, and especially because we were off last week and, like, with the wedding, we've been watching a lot of true crime. So Netflix and HBO Max have really good selections, but the one that we watched last night is on HBO Max. It is a 3-part true crime miniseries that we binged in one night because I could not stop fucking watching it. And it was, like, short enough. So it's called Low Country, the MURDAUGH Dynasty. I tweeted
Okay.
about this last night.
Yes, I did see that.
The kind of like very big TLDR here is that it's about the downfall of this family called the Murdaughs, who are basically considered Southern Mafia, and they were the prosecutors in the Low Country of South Carolina for 100 years. So basically, like, they ruled the area. So if any, it was good. It's like a good old boy, rich white guy system that no one ever got in trouble in those families because they knew all the cops and they could do whatever they wanted and could get away with anything they wanted, and you didn't want to be on the wrong side of them or you were fucked. So, like, you know, like, really great stuff. And so this whole series documents both the history of the family and then, like, how in the span of about a year and a half, it all came crumbling down because the patriarch at the time, Alec, and his two sons all committed heinous crimes. And it all came together in, like, these people are fucking horrendous. It's got so many deeply upsetting and wild twists and turns, and, like, it's so infuriating because while the overarching story here is that, like, they fucked around and found out, basically, like, they thought they could get away with things for 100 years, and, like, this is what happens now, like, rich people just can't keep getting away with it. You still get to see how they got away with it for a long time, and the people that they fucked over, and the people they stole, like, it's just fucked, but it's fucking fascinating, and I think... I read a review on Letterboxd that, like, I shared a similar sentiment with, where it's like, I like these documentaries about parts of America that you don't know about, and there's like these crazy dynamics that no one knows about in parts of the country that no one cares about, and they don't think about what, like, power dynamics look like outside of big cities.
Right.
So it's really interesting to see, like, what those power dynamics were like, and how for a fucking century this family had an entire hold over, like, a huge swath of a single state.
That's so wild.
It's crazy. It involves boat accidents, hate crimes, and a person hired to make someone's death look like a suicide.
Oh.
It's nuts. So if you, like, want, like, 3 hours of just absolutely bonkers white men committing disgusting crimes and getting their comeuppance for it, most of them, Low Country, the Murdaugh Dynasty on HBO Max. That's a call in your name.
All right.
Yeah, it's wild.
Huh. I don't know what to say about that.
It's fucking wild. It's just... It needs no other, like, kind of explanation. It's just, like, I don't have to exaggerate anything. Like, that's the whole... Like, if that's not interesting to you, then I'm not going to be able to sell it to you. Like, there's nothing I can say if you don't find that fascinating from when you hear the description, the objective description, then, like, I don't know what to do for you. Anyway, there's the South, but it's not even the South, it's Indiana. What about these beaver jokes? There was no good connection.
I mean, the South, for sure. Yeah, so we watched Zombeavers, which is one of Trace's favorite horror comedies. I know Trace Thurman.
Fucking horror comedies.
I've seen it twice now, and I appreciated it more on this watch than I did my first watch. But this is a lot. There's a lot going on in this movie, and I'm really curious to hear what you thought of Zombeavers, Mary Beth.
You know, a lot of people watch this movie, like, we're like, oh, this movie is so fun. Like, it's ridiculous. It's like, it's called Zombeavers. We all have an expectation for something called Zombeavers. So I was like, I'm going to go in with, like, that kind of mindset of, like, oh, it's, like, so bad it's good. It, like, comes back around. I didn't get there. I almost did, but I didn't fully get there. I didn't hate it. I appreciated what it was doing. I think it's better than I was surprised at it was better than it could have been. So, you know what? Overall, positive experience.
I mean, so as
soon as the tits came out, I was like, oh no. I was like, all right, so, like, I gotta make an assessment quickly here, because, like, I don't really know. Honestly, not the worst use of tits I've ever seen in horror. Anyway.
No, pretty funny, I think. Yeah. But, I mean, the movie is very basic. It's a trio of women, 20-something, I'm guessing, college students, whatever, say fuck boys and go to a cabin in the woods that is owned by one of them. The boys have a different plan and end up showing up. Chemicals turn beavers into zombies.
I love them. The beavers are so funny. They're practical, and I love them much.
They're so cute.
They're so cute, which is hysterical to me because there's so much, like, there's obviously CGI moments, like at the beginning when they hit the deer and there's like CGI guts coming off of the grill of the car and then the CGI dog piss. But then they have these incredible beaver puppets, and I'm like, this is such a bizarre experience, but I love the puppets. The puppets are great.
And then once the zombeavers bite people, they turn into beaver people and end up getting like these giant buck teeth and a beaver tail and start acting like beavers. And there's a bear that gets bit and turns into a zombeaver bear. There's a lot of really funny moments like that in this movie, and I have to say the opening sequence is my favorite, with the two truckers, one played by John Mayer.
Is that who that is? I was trying to figure out who that was. I was like, that person does look familiar.
Yeah, John Mayer plays one of the truckers, and they're having a casual conversation about dating men, which is such a weird moment for me, because it's like, I dated a guy for a week, and it was like this. It was just this weird little non sequitur, but the moment reminded me of, like, I think it was Return of the Living Dead Part 2, where there's like a truck that ends up tossing a barrel of the trioxin in that movie into the water, and that's where the tar man comes out of and turns into the zombie in the sequel. Well, remake sequel type thing. And this movie is the similar thing where a barrel falls into water and turns the beavers into zombies. And I don't know. There's like, I think your appreciation for this movie is going to hinge on how much, or what your tolerance is for watching really bad people. Because these characters are terrible. They're horrible people.
Like, it's gross. Like, and I think I think I have a hard time with that sometimes, with like, I appreciate what you're doing, and it is very funny, and like, for what, I think it knows what it is for the most part. So like, it's like, yes, this is a movie about fucking zombeavers, like, and people who turn in to zombie, like, it knows what it is, but still, ugh.
They're gross people. Yeah. They're not great. I do think it's funny that the blonde character, who in traditional horror movies is usually like the sort of stuck-up person that gets killed first, I do think that there's an interesting subtext here, or like twist on a subversion of the story, because she's like the only character in the movie that's actually decent. Like, she had her boyfriend cheat on her. She's there to like get away from them. You find out later that one of her friends cheated is the person that he was cheating with. Everyone seems to know but her and the one girl's boyfriend. Like, I don't know. There's like a little subversion of that kind of expectation of who this character is going to be.
Yeah.
And then the final girl, who, I mean, there's really no final characters in here because they all end up dying, thankfully. But like, the one final girl that like survives to the very end is the worst person. And I don't know. I think that there's some funny things going on in there, but it is definitely.
I will say, I loved the really asshole friend. I did. I was like, you're making, like, she sucks, but like, you're kind of also making people love her. Like, she sucks, but she's funny. I don't, like, there was something about her that I was really into. And like, you know, I'm used to, at least it's 2014. We're still kind of a little bit in an era of like, girls with their titties out. And like, obviously that's what this is. But it also didn't feel like super like, a wooga wooga, if that makes sense. It's more like making fun of all the creepy old guys and like who are like staring at them, and it's more poking fun at the way that women are regarded and being like they can't even exist without. It's probably not that deep, but as I was surprised.
I know, how much credit do we give this movie?
I know, but like it just, that part surprised me because I'm used to a very certain way of the camera moving in movies like that when a girl takes her top off, and in this one it was a little less egregious, and I was like, oh well, you know what? That's good for them. So, you know, thanks for subverting my expectation. This is a movie that I think Epic, the company I work for, produced this or something. And when my mom like found out when I got my new job, my mom looked up the company and she's like, "Did you know that your company made the movie Zombeavers?" I was like, "Yep, I did."
The amount of beaver jokes in this movie.
Oh my god! Just
with
looking
Buck,
for some beavers. Aren't
we all? I've never seen a real beaver up close. Well, maybe you should try going down on me once in a while.
It's just...
There's a lot.
It's so good. It's just, of course. I mean, like, honestly, I prefer that they lean into it. It does, again, let you know. We know what we're doing.
Oh, you know what you're getting, and yet
We're
somehow, I don't know, the practical effects are really good in this movie.
They are! And, like, the zombiever people, like, again, shockingly well done for what it is.
For what it is.
I do love the part at the beginning where there's, like, a bear, and they're all just sitting there in their bathing suits. I don't know why that's so funny to me. Just, like, okay. It's, again, it knows what it is. It's just fucking fun. It's just fun. It's funny. It's very funny. It's silly. It's in the vein, I think, a little bit like Thanksgiving, but not as bad in terms of just being like ridiculous and funny. And it knows exactly what it is, and it's fun to watch because it's not trying to do anything other than be a silly movie. Better
made than Thanksgiving, but yeah. Around that type.
You know what I like the kind of
I do
vibe around it. Oh god, Thanksgiving. Anyway. God, this movie, yeah. I mean, I had fun watching it. I think also because I'd watched The Menu and Bones and all, and I was like, I need something to just, like, wipe my brain empty.
This will do a great job of that.
And, like, I appreciate that. It served it served its purpose, and I respect that.
Yeah. It's dumb, but it's fun.
It's dumb, but it's fun. And you know what? It's the best kind of movie. But then, okay, so we're almost done with horror comedies. I think we're doing two more. So what are we doing next week, Terry?
So next week, we're going to watch a movie that I don't think either of us have seen. Kevin Smith's Tusk. I've been wanting to see this movie for a while. I just have never gone around to it. So go from
I'm so excited.
One horror comedy about teeth to another one. But who are we talking with on Monday, Mary Beth?
Oh, on Monday, we are chatting with Devon Taylor, the co-host of the newly renamed Spectre Cinema Club, formerly known as the Bloody Blunts Cinema Club. And he brought with him iconic movie Jumanji, a movie that defined my childhood. I had not seen it in a long time. It is a dark as fuck movie. I don't think I realized how dark it was when I was a kid. It was an incredible conversation because boy oh boy is Jumanji a dark fucking movie.
Dark. Surprisingly dark. We talk a lot about poor characters getting sucked into the board. We talk about people dealing with 26 years of life being stuck in a kid's body. We talk about like bad CGI monkeys.
Trauma with your parents.
A lot of trauma. It was a good conversation about a movie that surprised me with how dark it was. Because again, I had not seen it like you since probably when I first watched it. But yeah, good conversation.
Very good conversation. So listeners, you've heard from us, but we want to hear from you. Did you watch or listen to one of the things that we talked about this week? Do you have suggestions for our next series and what we should cover? Send us an email at scarredforlifepodcast@gmail.com or reach out to us directly on Twitter. I'm at MB McAndrews.
And I'm a Gaily Dreadful.
And of course, don't forget to follow the podcast on Twitter at Scarred Podcast.
And please don't forget to review, rate, and subscribe, and support us through Patreon, where you can watch these wonderful videos. You can hear our Fresh Wounds episode that we launched this month about... What did we talk about this month?
Megan is Missing!
We talked about Megan is Missing.
I tried to wipe that one straight out.
I think I did too. My mind was like, nope.
I literally was done. Like, what? It was like an egg cracked. I was like, Yeah,
I think my mind was trying to protect myself from that fucking movie.
But so thank you to Eric Power for artwork. Thank you to Sean Keller for music. Thank you everyone for listening and or watching. Please stay safe out there, but most importantly, stay creepy.
And until next time.